Yo! It's Shabbat. What are you doing?
Torah forbids carrying a mat on Shabbat?
Not Torah, the oral tradition. Yes.
Whenever they're arguing about Sabbath with Yeshua, that it's about the oral tradition.
Right.
Yeshua's never saying Sabbath is done away with. Welcome to Grafted. I'm Tom, and this is Sam. We're elders at a Messianic congregation, and I did 2 years of doctoral studies in Jerusalem, and I studied the different biblical sites and the archaeology and the scholarship, all about the first century context of the Bible. So we've been loving the series. That's not the Pool of Siloam. That's the other. That's Bethesda.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But I'm not sure which one. This is probably Bethesda, though. If they got the paralytics hanging around, right? There's the stirring of the water. They're jumping in. That's cool.
That's crazy.
Oof. That's a good build-up.
Wow.
I can feel.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's just
Can you
incredible.
imagine? Pool of Bethesda is, we know exactly where the Pool of Bethesda is. Like, we found it archaeologically. This is not just a made-up story in the Bible. We know, and scholars agree where it is, which is so cool.
Really
This
cool.
is like authentic story.
Who do you think the brother is? Oh man, look at him. He's getting older and older.
Simon the Zealot?
Maybe. That's what I was thinking.
Or, I think Judas was a zealot also, so who knows? It could be Judas.
Wow. He's getting some sort of dagger.
The dagger, well, the Sikari, you know, it's that like curved dagger. That's what one of the main sects. There are many sects of zealots actually in the first century, but the Sikari are one of them. And they're named after those daggers.
Wow. Wow. I really love is how human they make every character.
Yeah.
I mean, from all of the disciples to even Yeshua, it's like you have this humanity is so real, and then you go back and you read the stories and you hear the the things and the colors, and you have a better picture, which is also why going to the land of Israel, walking in Jerusalem, I think is so important.
The other thing they do really well in all their films so far is you see how diverse ethnically the Jewish people are.
Yeah.
So in America, we have this misconception that the Jewish people are all Ashkenazi Jews, that they're essentially from Eastern Europe, and there's a certain look or something. But when you go to Israel, you actually see that they're this microcosm of the nations, and they're all different colors of skin and ethnicities. And so they actually do a pretty good job in this film of showing you that. It even stands out. You're kind of like, oh, wow. But when you go to Israel, that's actually what the Jewish people look like. They're from Ethiopia. They're from Russia. There's 1 million blonde-haired, even Russian Jews. But then, of course, Middle Eastern Jews, European Jews, South American Jews. I mean, so it's cool how they depict that.
For sure. All right, so we are at the festival of Sukkot, looks like.
It's a big sukkah.
Really
Yeah,
big.
I've never been to Jerusalem. Really?
Never been to Jerusalem.
My father never took me and my mother to the feasts.
This is your first feast of the tabernacle.
Oh, that's because she's from Magdala, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tabernacle is a temporary dwelling. It's a tent. I know what the tabernacle
I was
is.
going to say, why wouldn't he
Right.
know what?
So what? Do we have to build one to eat? I was being facetious.
Yeah.
God said to live in a booth for 7 days during this feast. To commemorate how the children of Israel...
That's
lived
a
in
nice
temporary
sukkah.
That's really
shelters for
nice.
40
It's a nice
years in the
ladder.
desert. Still out.
It's a carpenter in you.
For every able-bodied Israelite male who traveled to Jerusalem and present himself before Adonai.
In Israel, during Sukkot, it happens to be the time of year when the date palm branches that you need to cut them back, essentially.
Right, to prune
And
them.
so these don't look like date palms, but
Sure.
they probably didn't have date palms in
Right, wherever
in
they're
where they are.
filming.
But it's cool because it just happens to be that you cut them and then they work perfectly for your sukkah. The Lord like set it up with nature perfectly.
He has a pretty good grasp on time and timelines.
And nature.
Yeah.
Father nature.
Father nature. So they're in the sukkah.
Nice. That's kind of how our sukkah is with the sheets like that. Eshet Chayil, did you hear that?
So-
Woman of valor who can find, Proverbs 31.
Shabbat blessing?
With all due respect to Daniel, I know you're a skilled architect, but this thatched roof won't keep the rain out.
It's true.
Vegetation provides shade from the sun during the day.
And if a few raindrops get through, it is a reminder of our dependence on God, of His provision, and of how our people were so vulnerable in the wilderness. And He brought us through.
And everyone who has survived, all the nations that have attacked Jerusalem, shall go up year after year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles.
Zechariah 14. Yeah.
What? Zechariah says that? That feast every year? You just don't pay attention.
And there's a lot of readings, they sort of run together.
What exactly is your question, Big James?
One day, our enemies will celebrate this feast
That's a good
with
question.
us.
It's a good question.
Babylonians, Assyrians, the Romans,
The Romans.
Jews and Gentile at this table? What would have to happen for that to be possible?
Wow.
Something will have to change.
That's good. I felt that one.
I gotta say, when Jesus said that hit me.
I felt it.
That hit me. That was, man, that was good.
Yeah.
Something's got to change.
Something's
Like,
gotta-
but it's showing the wrestle, like this first century wrestle. We're being oppressed by Gentiles.
Right.
I mean, as a Gentile, I'm like, I want to be at that table. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I want to be at that table.
Yeah.
You know, and so to me, that's like that passage, Zechariah 14. That's a really beautiful, hopeful passage. But
Sure.
maybe from a first century Jewish perspective, it was a wrestle passage.
It would have to be. All you
Right.
have to do is look at the previous Jewish history and how the nations have treated Israel, or even the last 2,000 years. That's
sure.
why it's still this big struggle,
Sure.
right? It's good showing the wrestle here.
And even depicting Jesus' heart for the unified family. They're picking up on that. Which
John
is, which is
17,
amazing.
absolutely. Hey, if you've been impacted by our videos, we want to ask you to donate to Grafted so we can impact even more people with the importance of Jesus and Jerusalem and the Jewish people and awaken people to that biblical context.
Yeah, so click on the link in the description below to partner with us financially.
Look at me.
You see the compassion, right?
Look at me. That's not what I asked. I'm not asking you about who's helping you, or who's not helping, or who's getting in your way. I'm asking about you.
It's so interesting how he picks one person,
Right.
right? And then
I've tried.
he's like chooses them among
For
the
a long
crowd.
time, I know.
I love the way
And you don't want false
He
hope again, I
looks.
understand.
they depict the way he
But this
looks
poor-
at people. You imagine?
It has nothing for you. It means nothing. And you know it. But you're still here. Why? I don't know. You don't need this pool. You only need me.
Yeah.
So, do you want to be healed? So let's go. Get up, pick up your mat,
Simple as that.
and walk.
He's getting out his boat.
Let's write this down. That's hilarious. He goes right after like his heart.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't mess around.
On that one, you don't even think he touches him. It's interesting how he does it different, like every time. You know, when he
Look at
spits
that.
in the dirt,
Right.
He has them wash in the other pool. He speaks to them. He has them touch the fringes of his garment.
Right.
It's like there's no formula.
Right.
He's not a...
You have to do it this way.
Yeah, it's...
I'm free to walk.
Wow.
Like he said, don't forget your bed. Why does this matter? Because you're not coming back here. That life is over. Everything changes now.
Wow.
Yo! It's Shabbat. What are you doing?
Torah forbids carrying a mat on Shabbat.
Not Torah, the oral tradition.
Yes.
Oh, it's good.
Transporting objects from one domain to another violates Shabbat.
The man who healed you don't realize what just happened here? Why are you trying to make this about Shabbat?
That was good. I
good.
wasn't expecting them to go there.
Uh-uh.
But that's a really important distinction on whenever they're arguing about Sabbath with Yeshua, that it's about the oral tradition. Yeshua's never saying Sabbath is done away with. He's saying that your laws on how to observe Sabbath are not true Sabbath observance.
Yeah. A bit off. Right.
He's tweaking the oral tradition, and that's exactly what they said. So that's good. Actually, most of Yeshua's healings in the Gospels happen on Sabbath.
Right.
But
Which is a beautiful picture of who he is and what is yet to come. He's always pointing to the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God. The kingdom of God. It's at hand. It's here. It's near. And that's where total healing is, right?
And Sabbath is ultimately about relationship with God.
Right.
God's relationship with creation. That's why it's the seventh day and he rested. So that's what's really beautiful, because what did he do? He was just so relational with this guy.
Eye to eye.
It's about that, and then he heals him as a demonstration that this is what Shabbat is really about, is relationship with me.
Wow.
And that's why if you observe Sabbath on Sunday, it's okay because it's about relationship with God. But if you observe Sabbath on the seventh day or Saturday, and you don't have relationship with God, unto what?
Right.
Who cares?
Who cares?
It doesn't matter.
Right.
Because you're missing the ultimate point of Sabbath. But
And like this guy's
cool.
experiencing the point.
Shabbat
of
Shalom.
Sabbath, right?
He's experiencing Shabbat Shalom. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see our full reaction to this chosen episode, click over here. And if you like our content, please subscribe below. It's always Shabbat somewhere, right?
That's true.